We're supposed to believe a fairy tale. The story goes that Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, decided to ditch the private jet life, hop on a commercial American Airlines flight, and blend in with the common folk. Not only that, but she supposedly charmed the entire flight crew, complimented their nails, and even handed them a sweet, handwritten note on a napkin. It's the kind of story that seems written by a PR team working overtime to sell a narrative of a humble, down-to-earth duchess. But what if the entire thing was a lie? What if this perfectly crafted PR moment was a house of cards built on a foundation of deception that collapsed the second someone looked at it too closely? Because the more you peel back the layers of this story, the more it seems like a calculated stunt that backfired in the most spectacular way imaginable. The story first broke on TikTok, where a flight attendant named Nina Vida shared a gushing, starstruck account of her alleged encounter. She breathlessly told the world, "You guys will not believe who I had on my flight. The Queen, the Princess, the Duchess of Sussex." She described how she and her co-workers, the AA girlies, passed a note to Meghan, only to receive a reply in elegant cursive. The note, which Meghan apparently signed, as ever, Meg, thanked them for their kindness and hospitality. It was the perfect viral moment. News outlets everywhere picked it up, running headlines about the Duchess's charm and humility. It was a PR masterstroke, a seemingly organic story that painted Meghan not as a controversial royal exile, but as a graceful and approachable woman of the people. It was exactly the kind of press her team has been desperate for, but the perfect image almost immediately began to crack. The first and most obvious red flag was the complete lack of proof. In our hyper-connected world, where everyone has a camera in their pocket, not a single person came forward with evidence. There were no blurry selfies from starstruck passengers in the background, no slyly filmed videos of her boarding the plane, no paparazzi photos of her walking through the terminal in New York or her destination. Nothing. Think about that for a second. We're talking about Meghan Markle, one of the most famous and photographed women on the planet. A woman who is followed by photographers, both hired and independent, wherever she goes. Yet we're asked to believe she navigated a busy public airport, went through security, boarded a plane, and sat for hours, completely invisible? It just doesn't add up. Her team obsesses over privacy, yet she supposedly flew solo without a single security guard in sight. The logistics of it are baffling, and the silence from fellow passengers was deafening. The only witness was one very excited flight attendant, and that's where the story starts to get even stranger. This whole episode felt less like a genuine moment and more like a scene from a well-worn playbook. Specifically, the Princess Diana playbook. The handwritten note, the grand gesture of personal connection, was one of Princess Diana's signature moves. Diana was famous for her elegant, heartfelt thank you notes, a practice that endeared her to the public and solidified her image as the people's princess. Now here was Meghan employing the exact same tactic. For critics, this wasn't a coincidence. It was a calculated performance. It fit a pattern they had seen time and time again. The wardrobe choices that echo Diana's most famous outfits. The photo ops that seemed to mirror iconic pictures of her late mother-in-law. It felt like she was auditioning for a role rather than living an authentic life, channeling the ghost of Diana in a desperate attempt to win the public's affection. But goodwill can't be copied and pasted, and viewers were starting to see the routine as tired and inauthentic. Just as the story was being celebrated by her fans, the narrative took the bizarre and dramatic turn. Whispers began to fly across the internet, and a powerful counter-narrative emerged. The rumor was that the flight attendant story was completely fabricated. Speculation exploded that the entire thing was a setup, and that the flight attendant had been put up to it. According to the online chatter, the woman allegedly confessed to contacts in France that she had immense regret over the incident, admitting that she never even saw Meghan on the flight at all. This bombshell, though, unconfirmed by major outlets, spread like wildfire. Whether true or not, it tapped into a growing public suspicion that they were being manipulated. Why would a flight attendant risk their career by disclosing passenger information unless they were part of a coordinated stunt? It fed the idea that Meghan's team had orchestrated the entire event, only to have their key witness get cold feet when the story came under scrutiny. The claims of deception didn't stop there. Eagle-eyed internet sleuths soon pointed out another massive issue. They noticed that several media outlets reporting on this recent flight were using a photograph of Meghan from 2016. The picture showed her getting off a plane from a completely different era of her life, long before the royal wedding and the move to America. Yet there it was, presented without a date or disclaimer, as if it were proof of this new commercial flight. Critics immediately cried foul, accusing the outlets and, by extension, Meghan's team of deliberately trying to gaslight the public. It's a classic misdirection technique. Use a real photo to sell a fake story. But the internet doesn't miss a thing. The discovery of the recycled photo was seen as the nail in the coffin for the story's credibility. It made the entire operation look not just desperate, but sloppy and amateurish, further fueling the public's distrust. So the big question is, why? Why go to all this trouble to stage such a poorly executed stunt that was guaranteed to fall apart? The answer may lie not in what the story was about, but what it was meant to distract from. Behind the scenes, the Sussex brand has been facing turmoil. Reports have surfaced claiming that Prince Harry is completely heartbroken and desperate to reconcile with his family, even using social media glimpses of his children as a last resort to pull at King Charles's heartstrings. Rumors have swirled about the couple living increasingly separate lives. On top of that, they made the controversial decision to hire a new director of communications who previously promoted Netflix's The Crown, a show the royal family reportedly despises. With so much negative press and internal drama brewing, the humble flight story seems like a classic smokescreen. It was a calculated attempt to project an image of a thriving, independent, and beloved Meghan, a narrative completely at odds with the chaos rumored to be unfolding behind palace gates. This desperate need to control the narrative seems to bleed into every aspect of Meghan's public life, even raising questions about her family. The most telling clue came from an interview with Drew Barrymore. While discussing how she stays in touch with her children while traveling, Meghan shared a detail that made viewers' ears perk up. She said she records videos of herself reading bedtime stories so, in her own words, whoever's with them or Papa can say, "Here's Mama reading your bedtime story." That one phrase, "whoever's with them," was a shocking and bizarre choice of words. Why not just say their nanny or their father? The awkward phrasing felt like a rare, unscripted slip, and it instantly fueled speculation. If she is traveling so much and Harry is rumored to be living elsewhere part-time, who exactly is raising their two young children? It opened up a Pandora's box of questions about the stability of their home life, suggesting the idyllic family image they project may be just another carefully managed facade. In the end, the fairy tale of the Phantom Flight unraveled completely. What was likely intended as a quick and easy PR win, a simple story to make Meghan look relatable, backfired spectacularly. It became a tangled mess of suspicious details, unverified claims, recycled photos, and bizarre rumors that only deepened public skepticism. Instead of making her look down to earth, the stunt made her and her team look deceptive and out of touch. It revealed a potential desperation for good press at any cost, and it showed that the public is no longer willing to accept these narratives at face value. The Sussex PR machine may be running on fumes, and it seems the audience is finally tired of the show.